California's citrus harvest is in trouble. There just aren't enough workers. Farmers across the state are struggling because immigration crackdowns have scared off much of the workforce. In some areas, harvest crews have dropped from 30 workers to just 5. That means fruit is sitting unpicked, and experts warn this could lead to higher food prices. California agriculture relies on over 55,000 migrant workers. So, what happens if labor shortages continue? Will this lead to higher prices?
Yo, please share this out. Donald Trump, I need your help, man. I am a very loyal supporter. See, I wear the Trump hat, red hat. They don't like the red hat, Mr. Trump. You tell me when you told us when you got in office, you're going to do stuff, bring gas down, do this. Trump, you went around and got all the workers. You're just supposed to go after the bad hombres, the bad Mexicans, but you're getting the field workers, and now I have to work. I have to work, Trump. I'm too old. I am too old to be working in the field. I am too old. I am too old to be working in the field. Promises made, promises not kept. Gas, look at gas. It won't go down. $2 is almost 78 cents a gallon, Trump. You hurt me. You hurt me, you make me sweat. Help us, Mr. Trump, help us. Okay. That'll be me down here in the peach orchard working. Mr. Trump, why are you taking all the help away? Yeah, we know the peaches up. Yeah, we put the peaches on truck. We've been picking. See the trees. See the trees out there. See the trees out there. Mr. President, you'll be working us to death. You take all the people away from us. Take all the people away from us. Yes, Mr. Trump. You said you was gonna help us, Mr. Trump, but no, Mr. Trump. Making me work too hard, make me sweat. I ain't supposed to be sweating, Mr. Trump. Yeah, quit taking all our help. We need it bad, Mr. Trump. Yeah, what are we gonna do? That's good. It's good? Okay, sir. Yeah, what are you gonna do, Mr. Trump? When no help is no more.
And there's reports now that some farmers have 100% of their workers not showing up and they're being forced to shut down. In South Texas, they grow grapefruit, they grow oranges, lots of different citrus varieties, leafy greens, onions, potatoes, peppers. So not only are the prices of what we can get going to go up at the grocery store, but also there's going to be massive food waste if there's nobody picking these crops when they're ready to be picked. I hope MAGA likes a diet of strictly processed foods.
Family owned, over 4,000 acres of tomato farm across Florida and California. Yep. Sadly, his crops aren't looking too good. All those tomatoes rotting, Nobody's there to pick the crops. And with Trump tariffs, well, he ain't got nothing left to do, y'all, but to mow that shit down. He got to mow all that shit down. Yep. Ain't got nobody there to pick them goddamn crops. Do I feel bad? No, because that's what he voted for. He voted for Trump. A Trumper. All that shit wasted. All those goddamn tomatoes gone to garbage. They wasted. All because of that. Vote for Trump.
Where is MAGA when you need them? Nowhere to be found. MAGA, look. Here's a Florida farm that needs employees. You said you wanted your jobs back. Look at all these jobs. You see all these trucks that's parked over here and all these crops. All these crops vegetation, and fruits that's planted in Florida, which is a red state, by the way, do you notice there's nobody on these fields? Take a very close look. No one is on these fields. You said you wanted your jobs back. Now you got your jobs back. Now get to work. Okay? And they'll say, well, what are you saying? People should just run around and be illegal in America? No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is the people who have their documentations and had a chance to get their self on the right side of the law, why didn't you give them a chance instead of chasing them down, dragging them out of schools, graduations, out of their homes? Why didn't you give them a chance so they could go through the system, get documented, and work in peace? That's all we're saying. Okay? Because I know a lot of you will get this twisted and try to twist stories and tell, well, you want to break the law. No, we want to do the right thing by people. We're human beings. That's it. A lot of these people had their documentations in the pipeline to become legal so they can work in the United States. But you made sure that you sent ICE to take it away. So here's your job. Go knock yourselves out. Okay? And don't think you're going to get a pay increase from these farmers either. You still get the same pay, no matter what. You understand? Now, peace.
What do you mean you didn't know? I am being so sincere right now because I truly want to understand how it is possible that in this day and age where we have access to any piece of information that we want in our hands, and we have 40 years of history that we can look back on for this individual, where a scenario exists that you legitimately wouldn't know. There have been dozens of women who have made allegations of SA that span 4 decades. There's video, pictures, audio, testimonies, flight logs. He has been held accountable in court for one of those essays. Where's the confusion? This is also an individual that has a history of conning people, not paying people. He's been in court hundreds of times over the last 4 decades. And I think he's lost about 92% of these lawsuits because he, in fact, does scam and cheat people. He has been found guilty of fraud in a court of law on 30, however many counts. Where's the confusion? Why are you not connecting that all of those things that span 40 years are the same exact person that is now in the White House right now? Where's the disconnect? And beyond that, where was the confusion about his policies? He told you what he was going to do. There's a 900-page manifesto. I know he said that, no, I don't know anything about that. But before the election, I asked, what is the difference between the policies that he's presenting and he's owning up to and the policies in Project 2025? I never got an answer because they were in fact the same. What he was saying out loud as the policies that he wanted to implement was what was in Project 2025. Yet we were told, no, that's not the case. How did you not know? I want to understand.
All right, folks, welcome to the channel. What's up? Hope you all doing well. I am Fikazo. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Thank you so much for always come back to watch our video. We really appreciate your support. Now, right now, we are seeing many reports after the ICE hands of the immigrants, mostly illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants. Right now, we are seeing reports from the farms that crops are rotting in the farms. We've seen an interview on one of the TV about a farmer who is a tomato farmer. Right now, he said he doesn't have people to harvest the produce. He doesn't have people to harvest those tomatoes. Now, the tomatoes are dying in that farm. Most of these farmers are DT supporters. They support the guy because they thought they are going to get much better. They are going to get beautiful things. They are going to get a lot of things that in their benefits. So they're going to get many benefits. But right now, they're facing the harsh reality. Imagine being a farmer, okay? You may not really get it well, but imagine being a farmer and right now, you're losing your produce. You are expecting the market. You are expecting to take to the market. You've put a lot of things in that farm, in that field. You put fertilizers, you put, irrigation, you put many, many stuff to get the produce, to get the tomatoes. Right now, no one is harvesting those tomatoes. Man, it is so crazy and very hard to understand, because the farm workers really, they were important, because a significant portion of the US agriculture force, especially those performing labor intensive tasks like, harvesting fruits and vegetables, are immigrants. Estimates suggest that larger percentage of these workers are undocumented. In some states like California and Florida, this percentage can be even higher. The US Department of Agriculture have noted that about 42% of farm workers are undocumented immigrants. Okay, let's say that these people, they have this information. So imagine having such information and then you vote against your own interest, man. You know exactly that 42% of the farm workers are undocumented. So what were you expecting? Who were you expecting to come and work in those farms? That's the question people always ask. Why should you vote against your own interest? Why? You were expecting people like, I don't know, maybe you were tired of immigrants. You didn't want immigrants to come and work in your farms. Yes, I understand. But right now, who is working in those farms? So the work of harvest crops, is a physically demanding work. I always tell you that, often take place in harsh condition, okay? No, it's not just a work for everyone. Just extreme heat in those areas, and offers low wages. Most US-born workers are unwilling to do this type of work, which leads to work shortage, which leads to, labor shortage. It remains United States citizens are not ready to work in those farms because of how hard the work is, how hard the weather is. So they are not willing to go and work there, leading to a consistent and long-standing labor shortage in the agricultural sector. Immigrant workers fill this critical gap, allowing American farmers to produce the food that feeds the nation. Immigrants were the core of agriculture. Immigrants were those people supporting the farmers, working without saying anything. They want to support their families. They're working hard. But right now, voting mass deportation leads to rot of the crops in the fields. That is it. And people are realizing it right now. But before, I think they never said it. What were you thinking? What was your idea? What was your plan? When you were voting against your own interest, when you're voting about mass deportation, what was your plan? MAGA Farmers? Florida, California, Texas, Nebraska. Anyway, what was your plan? Because right now, it is the time to see your plans. You should implement your plans after immigration, what we're planning, so that people can see exactly your plans, not just seeing you like people who doesn't have solution for your problems. These are big problem. Not only these farmers, but also in the construction industry, in other areas that needs hard work, they needs manpower. So this is going to lead to food shortage. It is going to lead to what? Expensive of food, groceries is going to go high. Because if crops are rotting there, imagine the imports have tariffs on it. Man, foods is going to get expensive. Groceries is going to get expensive because our farmers are not doing well, are not doing their normal job, are not doing the exactly job they're supposed to do. Right now, they are regretting voting against their own interest. Man, the most impact of anti-immigration policy, it is the labor shortage. That's the number one thing. I've seen an interview of a farmer saying that it was not a good idea because farmers were depending on those immigrants. Farmers were depending on those immigrants because they're working hard. They're okay to work in those harsh, weather, in the hot They're okay to work, man, without any condition. Whatever just you offer them, they're okay to work. But you guys, you've never seen that. You just vote against your own interest, man. That's the harsh reality. So it has disrupted the seasonal labor flows. Mostly the agriculture industry often relies on migratory workforce that follow the harvest from state to state. For example, workers may start in California and move up through the Pacific Northwest as different crops ripen. So it means the farm workers, it's a seasonal work. So the workers just move from one place to another, just going to harvest, which means you may find that they were using the same workers. If today they are harvesting tomatoes, tomorrow in the other states they're harvesting other produce, other crops. So it means those workers were moving from one place to another to harvest. So which means you are using you are using the same workers. You're using the same people to harvest, to work in those farms. But you vote to deport them. They will no longer come to work there because they are scared. They don't want to go back in their countries. They come to support their families. They come to work hard. So another thing I've seen, it is going to increase the labor cost. If the immigrants are not showing up, man, farmers are going to raise the prices and it's going to increase the labor cost. Yeah, that's what you voted. That's what you voted. And finally, what we are seeing is crop rot in the fields. We've seen tomatoes rotting in the fields. We've seen many crops rotting. Man, this is the most visible and devastating consequences for farmers when harvest-ready crop doesn't have enough people to pick in time manner. It simply rots and become total loss. This means the farmer has invested time, money, and resources into planting and growing the crops only to receive income from it. Crop insurance typically does not cover loss due to labor shortage. It means you lose it totally. You lose it totally. No insurance can even support this because it is not there. Because crops are supposed to be harvested at the right time. And right now, many MAGA farmers, rural farmers, are facing this reality because they cannot be able to do that work. They cannot be able to maintain that, which will result in economic ripple effects because the financial losses experienced by farmers have wider impact on the economy, high food price, shrinking economy. So it means all those things are going to go to regular American is going to face that. That is the reality, man. That is what is happening. Tell me in the comment section, what do you think about this? What do you think about these farmers? What the farmers can do right now because the food shortage is incoming. Workers are not ready to go to work. Tell me, what do you think what farmers can do? All right, folks, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I am your presenter, Fikazo. Let's meet in the next one. Don't go without subscribing and like this video.